Is this thing on?
Welcome back to another episode of Spoiled Life Live. I'm your host, Ram Garcia, and we are in beautiful Corpus Christi, Texas. I feel like I say that all the time, that we're in beautiful Corpus Christi, Texas, but it's hard to get away from all this fun we're having.
It's a great place to be.
If y'all are just tuning in, it's Memorial Day weekend, right? The traffic more than likely is backed up at the JFK. Everybody is surrounding the Selena statue downtown Corpus.
Yes,
right?
they are, I'm sure.
They're probably utilizing both lanes at Whataburger, not just one.
Chick-fil-A.
Right, and they probably only have 3 registers open at Walmart. Right? But if y'all are at the house, like I would be, thank y'all for tuning in on another episode of Spoiled Life Live. Right, like I said earlier, we're in beautiful Corpus Christi. We're in the beautiful Roy's Bait and Tackle studio, where we have everything that works, from clothing to lures to rods to animal mounts. This is like Corpus Christi's very own Bass Pro Shop.
Right.
So
This is
cruising
the Mecca.
here,
The Mecca.
yes, this is the best it gets for Corpus
it
Christi,
is.
guys. If y'all aren't local, right? Y'all are just cruising into Corpus Christi because you wanted to check out the beach, and you got to the JFK and you're like, oh my God, I want to go back home. On your way back to the left-hand side, you can't miss it. Come on in. We got Karbach. It's cold. We got seating. You know, there's a couple people here already, you know, just tuning in live. As always, I got real sportswear on, keeping me cool in case the AC goes out or the sun
Looking good.
decides to pop up and
Right.
pop in
Yep.
to the building. And we're keeping fresh with none other than the home of Spoiled Life Live's Karbach Brewery, right?
Karbach. Oh,
And what
yeah.
we're drinking
Ranch water.
ranch water spicy mango
Oh, yeah.
hard seltzer. And it's pretty good. This is one of the newest ones. Everybody knows that I'm a ranch water lover, I guess.
Aficionado.
There you go, one of those. And it's good.
This is
spicy
especially
mango.
good. Yes.
Get y'all something to drink. You have about
Ooh, that
5
was good.
seconds. Well, you got 10 seconds to get you something to drink. Sit down on your favorite couch and check this show out, because this is probably one of the biggest shows. I say that to all of you, but this is probably one of the biggest shows
Hey!
that we have in Spoiled Life Live history, right?
Well, finally you got to the best. You know, you've been digging through the rest.
Man, we've had a lot of success on the show. I never thought, a little bit about the show, right? Now that I'm here, you did it, not me. We're bringing in some of the best guides, anglers, dealers,
Yeah.
your average Joes to the show, right? We want to know who our guests are, and get a little deep into our guests and find out exactly, when we do purchase these trips, when we do see these people at HEB or at Eckert's, you know, we know exactly who these people are, you know? So it's going to be a hell of a show. If you're just tuning in, we got some of the best people on board with us today. So without further ado, I want to introduce my next guest, which I believe it's show number 23.
Wow.
Right? We've been doing this at least 23
That's
times.
very
we had to
successful.
start over
Very
at
successful.
the very beginning, because
Wow.
this group used to be a private group. And I told myself, man, everybody was telling me, it was like, dude, we can't share this group to anybody. It's private. So I had to delete everybody. Like, for real. I had to go in there and delete every single person. And it was so heartbreaking, because I thought no one was going to come back. You know, people delete you and you're like, man, this guy, who does this guy think he is? You know, so
Don't take
we
it
started
personal.
over again. And now we're back and better than ever. But enough about me, right? Everybody knows who I am, you know?
Not everybody.
Without further ado, I have South Texas legend, a South Texas. What's another one? What's another one we could call you?
Well, I used to be called the Queen of Kayaks.
There you. Oh wow.
Yeah, that was
Really?
back in the day when I pioneered kayak fishing.
See,
in
now you're
Texas.
coming towards my realm.
I
right?
mean, I've been a polling guide skiff. I mean, a polling skiff guide for about 13 years.
Well, don't say too much because
Okay.
I need to say your name first.
Oh,
All right.
Captain Sally Black. Who doesn't know that? Oh,
Former queen of
formerly
kayaks.
Moffat.
Right.
Hmm?
Former queen of kayaks.
Former
right?
Queen of Kayaks, right?
None other than Captain Sally Black.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's it's an honor.
Well, thank you
It's
very
usually
much.
an honor for them to come on the show, but it's an honor for me to have you here, right?
Well, I appreciate it so much.
So none other than Captain Sally Black on the show. We're going to talk fishing. We're going to talk history. We're going to just talk about everything, right?
It's going to be fun.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I started guiding in '98 in Rockport, but before that, I bought my first boat in 1985 in Rockport, and I was 25 years old, but that kind of gives me away, sorry. But I was at the boat ramp with my new boat, and a whole bunch of people said, does your husband know you have his boat? Or they'd
Uh-oh.
say, for a blonde, you can sure back up a boat trailer,
Right.
right? So there were no women at the boat ramp in 1985. I'm sorry. And then I started inviting all my girlfriends to go. And then we would have these wild party times on the water. And we were all good fishermen. So we'd catch just a ton of fish. And we just have a great time. And I taught all my boyfriends how to fish. And it was just a great way to learn Rockport. And that's where I started.
Rockport.
Rockport.
Was there any good fish over there in Rockport?
Well, so during that time, when I started guiding in '98, there were, I don't know, maybe 6 guides.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
not kidding you. And when I started guiding, I had an instant clientele, and it was families, because a lot of those guides were kind of crabby, and they weren't really conducive to families. So since
Right.
I was a woman, all the people that had kids, they just thought, well, she's going to be good.
Right.
So I had an instant clientele, which were families. And I started fishing BC, which means before croaker. And
So this was before croaker was even invented?
yes, croaker was not even invented.
Wow. It was just
good.
mullet, live shrimp.
Well,
kind
here's
of deal?
what I did. So all the guides, 6 or 8 of us, we would leave the boat ramp and we would go throw the cast net with our clients. And there'd be one bucket kid and one girl following me around, or boy picking up, whatever dropped out of my cast net. And then once we got enough finger mullet, we would go fishing. And Estes Flats was just, it was easy back then. And so we would go and catch just, we'd follow big giant schools of redfish and big fishing in all the big potholes and just anchor up the boat. I had a 24-foot Carolina skiff, so that was my first boat.
Oh, wow.
And it was plenty big, and it was always full of like Dr. Pepper and chips and snackage, and all the kids would be running around screaming with pulling in redfish, and all
This
the
was
other guys
before
would
even
make fun of me.
Karbach. This was even before Karbach.
Way before. Oh, excuse me. Way before Karbach.
Right.
Anyway, so all the other guys would make fun of me, and that's okay. And then I started kayak fishing. One of my friends brought me a kayak from a garage sale that he bought for $25 or $50, something like that. And he's like, I don't know what to do with this. But I had seen, while I was fishing in Estes, there was a back lake, and I tried to walk into there, but it's too muddy. And I saw all these birds in there, and I knew there were fish in there. So me, just personally, I put that kayak in my 24-foot Carolina skiff, and I went to that spot, and I dropped my kayak off, and I paddled on in there, and I had my fly rod, which I just learned how to fly fish from Chuck Skates, who is like one of the godfathers of fly fishing. Taught me how to fly cast, but would never admit it. And he's passed away now, bless his heart, but he was a sweetheart and a half. And I went in there and I looked around and I thought, it was like a light bulb going off over my head. This is my future. You know, like I got tired of throwing the cast net and all that crazy stuff.
Right.
This is my future, kayak fishing, like going places where nobody could go. And this was back in the day where there weren't any kayaks. When I say none, I mean like zero.
Mm-hmm.
And
where would you buy them at?
you couldn't.
But where did your neighbor get hers?
Oh, he. Yeah, it was an ocean kayak, and that was the only kayak I'd ever seen in my life. So I called Ocean Kayak, and I said, what does it take to be a dealer? Because I was just poor, beginner fishing guide. You have to buy 6 kayaks to be a dealer. I'm like, wow, that's a lot.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of money. And I needed like at least 4 kayaks, maybe 5. So there were these ladies in Key Allegro in Rockport that wanted kayaks. And so I called them all up and I said, because they wanted to paddle around Little Bay and, you know, drink wine and whatever.
Yeah.
So I called them up and I said, hey, I need 6 ladies to buy kayaks and I'll sell them to you at cost so I can be a dealer. And boom, I was in business right then and there. I started kayak guiding. And so I had that big old boat and I'd put those kayaks in that big boat and I'd go across to, you know, the back of San Jose and paddle into those back lakes. And there was nobody there then.
Right.
And there were pods and pods of tailing redfish everywhere. And it was like a dream come true. And then I started building my clientele. I drug a kayak around to like all of the CCA meetings or anybody that would have me, you know, anybody that invited me. I'd have a kayak all rigged up, dragging it around, fly rod holders, regular rod holders, the whole 9 yards, whatever was available back then. And everybody started getting into kayak fishing. So then I changed my clientele to this kayak fishing. And then Chuck Skates introduced me to Maverick, the boat company, and they gave me a HPX, which is a super fine poling skiff. Gave me. And so I had both boats. And I did that for quite a long time. I did about 90 kayak trips a year and about 90 poling skiff trips a year. And luckily for me, Cove Harbor opened up their big rack storage facility.
Right.
And I was one of the first boats in there, and I had these kayaks in there, and they told me when I would come in, my whole boat would be full of mud. All of those kayaks would be full of mud, and they would clean them all up, and they'd put them back in the rack, right? Mm-hmm. My boat with the kayaks up in the rack. And they said, you are the last boat that we're ever going to allow in here with kayaks. This is just too much work. I'm like, yes, I know that.
Right.
Right? That's why I'm paying you. It's too much work. So having both boats was a huge boon for me because I could use my poling skiff with a motor to run around those back lakes and with my clients and locate the fish. And then when I had a kayak trip, I already knew where they were. Mm-hmm. I didn't have to paddle that far. I didn't have to do a lot of searching. So it was just a match made in heaven. And that was my career, basically, from, you know, maybe 98 to maybe 2008, 2008.
Mm-hmm. What did you do before that?
I was a paralegal.
Okay.
For 15 years.
Wow.
Right. But I always had a boat.
Uh-huh.
And my last case I worked on for I think 12 years.
This all happened in Rockport as well?
In Rockport, right. And so after that case was over, I called my boss and I said, the last 10 years that I was a paralegal, I was a contract paralegal because having a real job messed up my fishing.
Right.
And it was good enough. My boss was kind enough to let me do that. And I had my own office and I set my own time and I just did what I needed to do. And after that case, and I got my big fat check, and I said, I am done being a paralegal. I'm going to go be a fishing guide. And he said, well, it's about time. And that was Mr. Bill Edwards from Corpus here.
Oh, wow.
Right? Everybody knows who he is, I'm sure.
How did you end up in Baffin Bay area?
Well, Aubrey Black and I knew each other, excuse me, since I think it was 02 or 03. We met at a charity function. And immediately I saw him. Somebody said, hey, that's Aubrey Black. And I had heard his name, like he started out with a real splash in Baffin, like he was big time, catching giant trout all the time. And he was great at, promoting through Too Cool Fishing. And
You're like, I gotta meet this guy.
Well, no, I didn't say that, but somebody said, hey, that's Aubrey Black over there. He wants to meet you. And I'm like, oh, crap, another groupie.
Right.
And when he started walking up to me, I thought, oh, my God, he's gorgeous. He's just gorgeous. I mean, that guy, wow. And we were both married to other people at the time, so it just wasn't the right time, for us to be together. But God has a plan. And
Right. That's what I tell my wife all the time.
yeah,
That's
God-
kind of like the story between me and my wife. This show is not about me. I know everybody's like, what in the hell? It's not about me. My show will come later, right? But that's a pretty cool how you said that.
Yeah. So, every time we were at a fishing show or a function that we were at together, we would track each other down all the time. And we just had like kismet or whatever you want to call it, some kind of
There was a connection.
connection,
there.
right? And he just was that kind of guy. And I'm a real unique person in that, I do stuff that most women don't do.
Right.
Like I'm just a hard charging, horse girl, fishing girl, boat girl, wade fishing girl. I mean, I've never really fit the mold,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, wow, a fishing guide, we would be the perfect match because we'd have something to talk about,
Right.
So there was a time that I got a divorce and he got a divorce, and then I don't know, we ran into each other somewhere, and then we were talking, and all of a sudden, like, we just fell in love. I mean, but we fished together a bunch before all that, and we hunted
Okay.
together, and I had an 8-month-old black lab that he had a good dog, and I wanted to train her with him, and blah, blah, blah. Needless to say, it was love at first sight.
So Mr. Black wouldn't just guide. He was an outdoorsman. He'd hunt and,
Well,
and
that's
all that stuff.
right. So he was a duck hunter and a dove hunter, and a fisherman. And so we just started running trips together, and then I moved down there in '09, and then we got married in 2010.
Wow.
We got married at Los Corrales. For the people that know about Baffin Bay, that's about 15 miles from the boat ramp. And our wedding invitation was a GPS coordinate.
Okay.
So you had to,
Was there a lot of people that showed up?
well, we had 85 people in 24 boats.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and we were all standing like ankle deep on a sandbar, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And the sun, we got married at 7:08 a.m. The sun was coming up,
Mhm.
and then we all went fishing after that. And then we had just a drunken brawl at the trailer park community center at noon to 7 o'clock or so, or until people couldn't take it anymore.
There in Rivera?
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Well, down there at the Loyola Beach.
Okay.
Yep. And it was a blast. So
Well, let's drink to Mr. Black.
Let's just do that.
If y'all are out there and y'all have y'all's Karbach, go pick up another one just so you can get that open noise with us.
Captain Black,
Captain Black.
the guru of Baffin. Yes.
That one tasted a whole lot better.
That's great. That
Man.
ranch water is.
We might have to get more up here.
I don't know.
while
I don't
we're
think I
at-
need too much more, but whatever.
We talked about the kayaks,
Pulling skiffs,
poling skiffs,
going to Baffin.
going to Baffin. What
Now
got
what?
you? I'm pretty sure Mr. Black had an influence, a huge influence in it. But what got you to start guiding in the Baffin area? Was there a lot of guides?
No, I was already a guide. So I started guiding in '98 in Rockport.
Mhm.
So I moved to Baffin in '09. So I was already an established guide.
Okay.
And I had a clientele, a good clientele, and mostly I pulled by Maverick. And so when I decided to move to Baffin, I told my clients, I'm going to be relocating, and so for a whole year, I drove back and forth from Baffin to Rockport, and 88 miles at 5 o'clock in the morning is a pretty rough drive.
Right.
And then 88 miles at 6, 7 o'clock at night, and then get back to our place in Baffin, and then have to cook dinner or go shopping or clean a room or
Right.
right. So it was and I was young, considerably younger then, And so it was a doable thing. But we worked together really, really hard. And then in 2014, our house burned down.
Oh, wow.
And so he and I lived in a 28-foot travel trailer for 2 years in our backyard. And we rented a place on the water for our clients. And so we just kept on going.
Right.
And then we built that nice lodge that we have right now.
Rod and Gun.
Baffin Bay Rod and Gun in 2016.
Which is pretty nice.
It's a very nice place.
If you ever decide to go to, which I'm sure most of y'all do, cruise into King's Inn, right?
Yeah, it's just right down the road.
Right by
between the
right there to
King's
the right,
Inn,
right.
between the King's Inn and the boat ramp.
Right. And just looking at the outside of it kind of gives you an impression of what's to come.
It's
before
Coastal Ranch.
Coastal Ranch.
Right.
What?
Since we're on the shores of the King Ranch,
Mm-hmm.
so I wanted to make it Coastal Ranch.
Right. That's what it's called? Or
That's
what?
my style.
Okay. Okay, I
That's
got it.
my
Yeah,
style.
Coastal Ranch vibe.
Coastal Ranch.
Yeah.
So, if you're on the King Ranch, you have to have some ranch, right? And you're sitting there right on the water, so you got to have some coastal. So, Coastal Ranch.
Yeah. I like it. Coastal Ranch.
It works.
Yeah.
It works. And people are very comfortable there, and we have a great chef, and we're expanding now. So we're building a new suite of rooms. We're going to have 7 rooms in its own suite, and it will be more double occupancy and single occupancy rooms. And it's going to really make everything better there because we just need more room. And we've been really successful, and I'm sure a lot of listeners heard that I sold the lodge, but I'm still involved, and I still work there every day, and I still guide out of there. And our new owners, Jim and his wife Brenda Crosby, are like God's gift to Sally, and their whole family. And when people ask me about me selling the lodge, I always say, I sold the lodge, but I gained a family.
Right.
Which I think God had a big part in that.
Yeah.
A big part. Like he has in fishing.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
We don't want to get too deep into the lodge. That's going to come later on in the show, right? We want to keep these guys. I'm guarantee everybody's on the edge of their seat right now, just drinking Karbach. They're telling their wives or their significant other to bring me another one. They're probably already too deep in their Karbach.
Oh, they're sitting by the pool drinking Karbach.
If y'all have any questions, if I miss them, I'll glance over here, right? Every now and then I'll glance at the questions. If I miss the questions myself, if there's a question towards me, Captain Sally Black, we'll go and address them after the show, right? Moving on. How has guiding evolved since Rockport, right? You go from Rockport, nobody at the flats. You come into Baffin, probably nobody at the beginning.
The reason I left Rockport because there were too many people
Oh,
at
really?
the flats, right? When I first started back in the day, like I said, there weren't very many guides, but when I left, I think there were 400 and something guides out of Rockport,
wow.
right? And it was just too crowded. And then the back lakes and every place that I fished, all of a sudden there were, lots of skinny water boats and more kayaks, and like I was my own worst enemy on the kayak thing, but it did kind of let a whole lot of people enjoy fishing that couldn't afford a boat. But all of the airboats in Rockport, all of the real shallow water boats, they all ran those back lakes that we silently paddled or walked, and it just seemed like the fish pattern was changing.
Oh, okay.
And even in the flats in Rockport, the fish pattern was changing. Estes Flats over by Con Brown, that whole area over there, East Flats, and it was all from boat traffic. So the fish didn't even act the same that they used to. And I was starting to get kind of frustrated with all the airboats, actually. And so that kind of made me, I called Aubrey and I'm like, what's that shallow water fishing like down there? And he said, I don't know. So I said, well, I'm going to bring my boat down there. Can you go with me just to make sure I don't hit those rocks and such? And, yeah, sure. So I had him pole me. I taught him how to pole my boat. I had a curlew at the time. Pole me around Baffin Bay, and oh my gosh, there's so many fish, and they're all stupid. They're still stupid, and we're throwing whatever. We always had a competition. I would be in the front with my fly rod, and he'd be on the poling platform with his conventional rod, and if he missed the fish, what did he have to do? Reel it all the way back up, right? If I threw my fly out there, if I missed the fish, what did I do? I just picked it back up and put it right back down.
Right.
And I was just, I don't know, we just had such a perfect simpatico, right? Mm-hmm. And it was fun to teach him about shallow water fishing over there. And he was a closet shallow water fisherman, because he was the guru of big trout, right? Mm-hmm. And he didn't teach me anything about big trout fishing. He just made me watch him, and he whipped my butt constantly, standing side by side throwing the same lure, and he was catching 28, 29-inch trout, and I would catch like nothing. And I'm thinking, like, look, I'm a good fisherman. Mm-hmm. What's up with this? Right. And it was nuance, totally nuance. He would throw his lures in the pool, and he'd watch and move his rod tip, and he'd watch and see what his lure did. And then he thought, well, I need a lighter jig head. My lure doesn't look natural enough, right? Mm-hmm. And over time, we found that reaction strike 1/32 jig head, but that was made in China, and they were pieces of crap. And so then we had Terry Oldham from Oldham Lures make the 1/32 Black's Magic, and that 1/32 number one hook jig head is a game changer, because it's a piece. What it does is it turns your piece of plastic into something that looks more natural. Mm-hmm. And as a lure fisherman, what else do you want?
Right.
I mean, that's the holy grail of lure fishing. Make your lure look like something that a fish would eat. And I mean, everything that we did after that was twice as good. Mm-hmm. For all our clients, mostly. I mean, we were good. But in part, that's being a good guide, right?
Yeah.
You could be good. There's a lot of good fishermen in the world, right? But to be a good guide, you have to impart that information to your customers.
Right.
Because they want to succeed.
Yeah.
Especially if they're fishing with people that they know are good. They're coming to fish with you for knowledge, not just fish, knowledge.
Yeah.
They go fishing with Jay Watkins or Mike McBride when he was fishing, or, mm-hmm. Aubrey Black, or, people like that. If they're big trout fishermen, they didn't just go there to catch fish. They went there to catch one fish, but to mostly learn
right.
about how to catch big fish.
Yeah.
Or really full trout.
Yeah. If y'all are wondering about the Black Magic jig head, we have them here at Roy's Bait and Tackle. Talk to one of the guys in the lure department, and they'll shoot you over to them.
Right.
Hell of a jig head. I've used them before. Real good stuff. The difference from Rockport to, you leave Rockport because there was just a...
Yeah, praise the Lord. Bless their hearts over there,
Right, I like Rockport. They got some good seafood.
Well, I mean, we've loved Rockport to death. I mean, it's beautiful. The water's clear. I was looking at a Facebook post from Chuck Nizer the other day, a fly guide, and the water is crystal clear over there. Mm-hmm. And he's like, if you look close, you can see a river of redfish running through this flat. And, he's taking a video with his iPhone, mm-hmm. and you could see a river of redfish running through this flat. The water's crystal clear.
Wow.
And, the water's clear in Baffin too, but it's not crystal clear. But you can still see fish, especially up shallow. And so we understand why people love it there. I mean, it's glorious. It's
right. just
really glorious. But when I went to Baffin, and I never saw another boat, I mean, and still today, I mean, you might see 5 boats all day long. Uh-huh. Like, one of my clients one day said, hey, where's the boats? Where are the people? I'm like, this is it.
Right.
Because it's kind of a protected place. There's only one boat ramp. The north side of Baffin is the King Ranch, and the south side is the Kennedy. And so there's no boat ramps, there's no water towers, there's no power lines, except for the wind turbines on the Kennedy, which don't get me started on that. But it's just a place that, you know, maybe the last person that walked where you walked, especially in Alizon, might have been an Indian.
Oh, wow.
Right? There's just nobody.
You ever find any stuff?
Oh, yes.
Really?
All kinds of
Like
stuff.
what?
Well, like arrowheads.
Oh, really?
Bones, lots of bones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know, you know, hey, I didn't say that. Bones.
Yeah, it could be. It's
there's
not
lots of bones.
necessarily Indians, right?
Right, it could be, or whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know, it used to be the wild, wild west over there.
Yeah.
Not that long ago.
Right.
So the beauty of Baffin is it's just pristine and glorious feel. You know, when you go out there and you don't see all the people and you're not fighting at the boat ramp and it's not a bunch of crowd.
You want to say
over
it's
there.
untouched.
It's
right?
totally untouched.
But it is
Still,
touched.
It is. It's
So
untouched.
when you come, when you get there to the boat ramp and you see nobody there, right? But most of the guides are coming from Corpus, right? They're cruising down the intercoastal at 90-something miles an hour just to beat somebody that's launching probably.
That never happens.
Oh, it doesn't?
Oh, no.
Okay.
So we fish Baffin, and so we always launch from the back, right there. We're across the street from the boat. The lodge is across the street from the boat ramp. So we launch right there, and we're already fishing by the time those Corpus boats come around, you know, East Clayburgh Point. So, no, that's not part of the game unless they leave, you know, like at 3 o'clock in the morning, and they're
Right.
so determined to just fish in one spot somewhere.
Yeah.
And that does happen too, but you know, those guys are few and far between. So, but you know, I leave before the sun comes up. I hope to leave before the sun comes up. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. If I'm fly fishing, it's a little bit more civilized. I'll leave 8 o'clock, something like that, and get to my spot when the sun is just in the right spot in the sky where the visibility is beautiful. The shorelines are gorgeous, and the fish are plentiful, and they're not very smart. You know, you can sneak up on them. You can hit them on the back like 2 or 3 times, and they'll still eat your fly. So the opportunity there is just incredible. And then one of our guides this week has been out flounder gigging, which nobody does in Baffin. And these guys decide, oh, they have 2 things. They have a sportsman's net, and they're flounder gigging. And in between their trips, they do this. And so they'll go out and they'll drag that sportsman's net in Baffin, Alizon, you know, North Shoreline, South Shoreline, whatever. Not around those big rock piles because you get your doors stuck. But and they've been pulling up all kinds of random stuff and lots of big shrimp. Which shrimp? Sometimes there's no shrimp in Baffin, and sometimes there's no croaker in Baffin. And so sometimes when you go croaker fishing, you don't catch anything. And the guys throwing plastic are catching fish, and you're not throwing anything. So there's some shrimp in Baffin this year, and he said that there were a whole bunch of squid, which I personally have never seen squid in Baffin. Now, granted, I've never drug a sportsman's net, but I've never seen squid in Baffin. So that's kind of unique.
Right.
So this guy, he's like loading his freezer up with shrimp, squid. Then he goes flounder gigging, and they all limit out all night long. You know, they drink some beer and they have a good time, and they've got these lights that, you know, on the end of LED lights on the nice setup, you know. And so our younger guides over there at the lodge, they have figured out the best of Baffin, and they're harvesting the best of Baffin.
Yeah.
And they all understand that we're a very conservative lodge in many ways, but as far as fishing goes, that's what we're talking about now.
Right.
But we are very conservative when it comes to keeping fish. We don't necessarily. Most of my clients catch and release.
Oh, really?
Or maybe keep a couple for dinner. It's not about what you bring back, it's what you let go. And that means next year it'll be even better.
Right.
You can't throw your lure at the good spots in Baffin without catching a 22 to 24 inch trout. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
It's full. Now, granted, this year we haven't seen a whole lot of great big giant trout like we usually do, but in 2 years from now, with what we have, it is going to be unbelievable. And I'm really psyched. I'm psyched over it. I fish so much. I fish all night long. I fish all day long. I'm looking for the 16-pound fish, you know?
Right.
So, and I'm convinced I'm going to catch it. And I'm just trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
So
I guarantee
I put in
you're
a
gonna
lot of
get there.
time.
You're going to get there for sure.
Well, you know, hope I can.
Yeah. About 2 weeks ago, we did a giveaway on the Spoiled Life Live page. We had a couple of entries, right? It was for, I didn't bring it with me, but if you go back, I think if you scroll down one or two, you'll see it in the on the page. It's actually one. Scroll down one and you'll see it. A couple of lures, sponsored here by Roy's Bait and Tackle, of course. If you don't win, cruise into Roy's Bait and Tackle and pick them up off the shelf. The shelves are always full.
Always.
And what I do is I'll come in, and if there's only like 2 packages, okay, those are the good ones, right? Let's find the ones that don't have as many
Take 'em
on
all.
the peg, right? Unless they're like you, and they come in and get them all.
I
right?
take 'em
all
all.
of the good ones.
I'll take them all.
So everybody's entry is right here. We're gonna do it differently. I used to cut the names, put them in a cap, and pick one name. But we're gonna do it a little differently. I have all the names here. It's kind of like picking straws, right? Well, let me shuffle them. Let me shuffle them so it can be
I haven't
fair.
seen them.
Somebody's already saying, are y'all gonna shuffle them? Somebody just said.
Nah,
I'm just playing.
I haven't even looked at them yet.
All right, here we go. So the winner of let's call it something. Let's call it the Sally Black, Captain Sally Black. I always mess that up. Captain Sally Black giveaway. Spoiled Life Live giveaway, but there's more. So keep on listening in.
Geez, are you shuffling enough?
We have to make it fair. We got to make it fair. All right, here we go. The winner. The winner of the Captain Sally Black post giveaway is Kobe Williams.
Oh, that guy again.
Kobe Williams,
wins every
you're the
time.
winner of the Captain Sally Black giveaway on the post Facebook.
Kobe, call me.
Spoiled Life Live. Slide into my DMs, Kobe. Kobe Williams. We'll get it out to you at a high rate of speed. So moving along, the guide. You say there's not. I fish Baffin quite frequently, right, on my kayak, right. I'm not gonna say where I launch, right, because there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people just digging right now on this page, right? That are like, man, tell us where you're launching at.
Well, there's a lot of
Right.
good places to launch.
Well, there's only one for a boat, right?
Well, there's only one for a boat.
Yeah,
but
for
for
a
a
kayak,
kayak,
there's
there's a lot of good
There's
places.
quite a few. There's many, but few at the same time.
Right.
To where if you could blow your spot, and it's a big deal on a kayak because it's not just the people that are. A lot of people say yes. Well, they got to catch them first, right? Yes, you got to go and you got to catch them still. Yeah, okay, yeah, but it's still a person there, right? That you're casting around, or they get there first, right? Okay, it's not a big deal, but now you got to change your game around, and just a few words can ruin a spot, right?
Yeah.
On the kayak side.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, maybe.
How do you, your opinion, right? How do you feel about, and I say this quite often on the show, right? The pandemic of guides, upcoming guides. And that's not a bad thing, right? Don't go deleting yourself from the show, right? I encourage it. right?
I've met several,
It's a big deal.
young
right?
guides that are just
Yeah.
off the charts.
I like it. I have some personal friends of mine that are guides, you know, and they haven't taken me anywhere, but
James
still, they're still
Sanchez.
personal friends.
I
of
mean,
mine,
the
you know?
local guides right here, James Sanchez,
Yeah,
Michael Chrisman.
yeah, all those guys, right?
There's a couple guides in Baffin.
Seasoned. I consider James Sanchez a seasoned guide, right?
Well, I mean, he's
I'm talking about the guys that are new, so to speak. And everybody deserves a chance, right?
Right.
Everybody has to start somewhere.
Well, I
You
did.
can't just say, okay, Captain Sally Black is the last guide there's ever going to be.
I mean,
right?
I started.
Yeah,
I mean, I
everybody
took
has to start.
I caught a lot of crap at the boat ramp.
Well, how
trust
do
me.
you feel about the guides that are just being guides? And there's guides,
Yeah.
and then there's guides, right?
Right. So down in Baffin, there's two sets of guides. There are a bunch of guides that I don't even know that only fish in the summer with croaker, and they fish the guys from like some of the ranches on the King Ranch, and those are their go-to guides, and that's what they do, and they got them all lined up, you know, year after year after year. I don't even know who they are, but they do their own thing. And then you've got you've got like a handful of 3 old timers in Baffin back there, and then you've got a pack of contemporary guides, which I hope I'm in the contemporary guides section, not the old timer section
Right.
yet. And then you've got some new guys, and the new guys, you know, all of them aren't totally committed to guiding all year round, right? Like a couple of those good guides down there, they just fish part of the year, and then they dog train in Wyoming, or they go up and hunt somewhere in Montana.
Right.
So they've got, or maybe go to Alaska. You know, they've got some gigs, and they're not like committed full time 100% Baffin guides. And so those guys, I know who they are, and you know, I get it. And then there's a few I call them mercenaries, right? In the wintertime, like friends of mine are even mercenaries. You know, Tommy Kuntz is a mercenary. He's from Matagorda, and he comes to Baffin. Well, he has a house in Corpus, and he fishes Baffin. And really, what most of those Baffin guides, those mercenary guides, they fish mostly Corpus.
Right.
And then they might poke their toe into Baffin a little bit, like come around the tide gauge bar.
Oh, okay.
But they don't really go back very far. So and they're all good. They're all really good. You know, Lynn Smith used to be one, Jamie Pinter for one. And so, but some of these guys, you know, haven't been doing this lately. They've been having really good fishing in the winter in their spots. Matagorda, East Matagorda has been good. Even after the freeze, that's been still a good big trout spot. Those trout got down into the intercoastal, and they survived. And so, you know, I have no problem with any of the categories of guides, none. This is how I look at guides. There's a guide for every client. There's a guide for every client. So those guys that fish with old so-and-so might not want to fish with me.
Right.
Ever. But my clients might not ever want to fish with old so-and-so.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a guide for every client. So there's zero reason to have any animosity, you know, unless people are just being awful. You know,
Right.
not good stewards, or, you know, mean at the boat ramp, or make circles around you. That never happens in Baffin. Ever. And I don't even worry about it anymore. It used to happen in Rockport all the time,
Oh, really?
but it does not happen in Baffin. Like, the people that fish Baffin just seem to be a different caliber.
Really?
Like, they just understand that this place is golden,
Yeah.
and we're going to keep it
They
golden.
respect the name.
Yeah, we're going to keep it golden.
Baffin Bay.
Yeah, it is a mystery.
Yeah, it is. Lots of history.
All those
in
rocks,
Baffin.
yeah, lots of history, lots of arrowheads and Indian
Yeah.
artifacts, and you know, it's just a really unique spot. You never see anybody. You know, you could walk the shoreline and find sheds,
Yeah.
Um,
And you know, that's something I've never done.
all kind of
I'm
crazy.
gonna do that next time,
It's
unless I get in
fun.
trouble like from the ranch people or
No,
something.
no, no.
but-
It's free. And like I duck hunt on both sides of the bay. So I'm on the King Ranch, duck hunting on the banks. Like everything up to the vegetation line is free.
Okay.
So I'll sit, I'll be where the ducks want to be,
Right.
and put my panel blind up. And we sit in camel captain's chairs and we drink coffee and eat taquitos and wait for the ducks to show up.
Yeah.
Me and my dog, Cinder. Shout out to Cinder.
Right.
I know she's watching.
Right? She just barked, I'm sure.
Oh, she's one of those kind of dogs.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, it's just a real, it's primal,
Yeah.
and it's free,
Yeah.
and that's why we call it the last best place
Oh, y'all do
on the
call
Texas
it that.
coast.
I'm gonna
Yes.
start calling it that too.
The last best place on the Texas coast, and it's going to stay like that for our lifetime. I guarantee you, because the King Ranch and the Kennedy, boo the Kennedy on the windmills, but there's not.
I noticed. Is there any on the King Ranch?
Oh no,
No.
they're against those,
Really?
very much so.
I wonder what made the Kennedy put
Well,
windmills.
The Kennedy,
Money?
well, yeah, the Kennedy is not owned by people anymore. It's a consortium, and it's the Catholic Church that owns the Kennedy Ranch now. So the consortium is there to make money,
Right.
and they're not bad stewards of the land, honestly. But those windmills are just horrible, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And we're right in the middle of the migratory flyway, so I don't know how that happens,
Right.
right? But we're still killing ducks. I mean, we're killing ducks.
Yeah.
I know they are.
Yeah. Right.
And raptors and what have you, but
Oh, that's right too. It's not
Right.
just ducks. Yeah.
no. So the Sierra Club's nowhere to be found, and I don't know. This too shall pass. This green phase will pass, and we'll get back to reality, where we're all just happy paying $1.50 or $2 for a gallon of gas.
Yeah. It's horrible.
So for-
gas is horrible.
For unleaded gas for a boat without ethanol, is like
Have your
four-
prices gone up
$4.50.
due to the gas prices?
Oh no.
Not yet.
No,
Do you plan on doing that or
I don't think so.
really?
Yeah,
That's cool.
it's tough enough for everybody.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You go to fish to enjoy yourself.
Well, I mean,
Not have to
it's about returning customers.
figure out how you're gonna pay. You know what I mean?
It's not about the money. I mean, most guides, look, if it was about the money, you wouldn't be a guide, because it's a lifestyle. It's a career, but it's a lifestyle.
Right.
So you like to be outside and you like to be doing the things that you want to do. You're not working for the man, the government. You're not sitting in an office. So there's a price to be paid for that, right? You have chosen to work outside,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a beautiful thing.
Right.
And so it's a lifestyle decision, and you're going to make enough to pay your boat payment, your truck payment, your electricity, some other stuff you like. Tackle at Roy's Bait and Tackle.
Yeah.
And
Where else? Would
yeah,
you
and you
buy it?
hope.
Right.
And I tell the young guides that work for us, I always say, how do you make money as a fishing guide? And they're all like, I don't know. I was like, you don't spend it.
Right.
You don't spend it. So you find good sponsors.
Yeah.
Like I have great sponsors, and we'll talk about that later, I guess.
Yeah.
And the lodge has good sponsors, and so we're trying to introduce our young guides to our good sponsors, and we have a really, really good following. And that's another thing that, those young guides are starting to understand. Why does Sally always get requested? Well, gosh, I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
Right? And I've taken all these people fishing for 15 years.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'm sure everybody over there is like, man, how come we didn't get to go on Spoiled Life Live?
All right. Well,
Right.
okay. So, but they could, because they're all that good.
Yeah.
They're all that good. And
Well, we'll definitely be reaching out for
yeah,
sure.
it's nice.
It's we want to be part of that.
I like to mentor
part of
these.
that whole
I
lifestyle.
really like to mentor these people, and I have had 2 interns that are guides now
Mm-hmm.
at the lodge, and this is my 3rd intern right here.
Yep.
Rihanna. Rihanna De La Cruz is my 3rd intern.
Okay.
And so I'm introducing her my first female intern.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, you know, women have to have a certain skill set in order to be successful as guides.
Right.
And her dad was a big fisherman. Her husband's a big fisherman. I mean, she was raised fishing and golfing, but fishing. And so she has that skill set that it takes to be a successful guide. And she's fixing to go get her captain's license, and we're going to work for another year together.
Cool.
And then she'll be off on her own, and I'm sure she'll be looking at the lodge.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. So you brought up the gas prices. I'm sure everybody's all bummed about the gas prices. They probably just left the gas station and they're like, man, I just spent $100 and something filling up my tank to go to the beach just to turn right back around because the JFK is all backed up and everybody's at JP Luby and whatever. So to get the morale, right, boost the morale up a little bit, we're going to give away something else.
Hey,
right?
I like it.
I mean, what else could we do?
I like it.
Here at
I
School
might
of
even
Life
open
Live.
up another Karbach.
Yeah, we got
that
plenty.
would get my
We got
morale
plenty here.
up.
I'm going to ask y'all something, right? For the people that have been on, you know I like to do this. I like to bring up something from the beginning of the show. If you join late, stay on, because I got something else in store for y'all. But for the people that have been on, the first person to tell me what Captain Sally Black was doing before she was a captain, right? I'm gonna send y'all this
it clean.
bag right here. I'm gonna send y'all this bag of stuff.
Oh man.
We got plenty of stuff
No,
in here.
no, that's from my cart. No, you can't do
This?
that. Yeah,
No,
you
this
can't
is
do
not
that.
your cart.
Okay.
In this bag, we already have an answer. But in this bag, Cliff Nagel, paralegal. We got tons of paralegals coming
People were
up.
listening.
That's awesome. Cliff Nagel is the winner on my screen, guys. All right. I know some people have different speeds of internet. That's a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. On my screen, it's Mr. Cliff Nagel. You're gonna get a whole bunch of lures. You're gonna get a spooled towel here. This is the last one of its existence.
No.
You're gonna get a cap. You're gonna get a mullet man cap. Right?
No
One
mul-
size fits
no,
all?
No mullet woman cap?
Nope, not yet. A Roy's koozie.
Nice.
And a whole bunch of lures, right? A whole bunch of lures from K Wiggler.
We love K
Reaction
Wiggler.
Strike,
We're stuck on the Wiggalo.
and just a whole bunch of stuff, right? We're gonna get it out to you, Mr. Nagel. Slide into my DMs. I'll get your address and we'll get it out to you at a high rate of speed. Congratulations. Let me write this down, man, because I will forget. Cliff Nagel. We got one more giveaway. Kayak fishing. That's true. That is a good answer, Oscar. Captain Oscar, but it's not the right answer. But
I was guiding already when I
Yeah.
started kayak fishing.
so let's keep going. Let's do a little bit of we're running out of time.
No.
We're running out of time really fast. Let's do let's talk about Baffin Bay rod and gun before we run out of time.
Yeah, it was a labor of love between my husband and I. And after he passed away in 2019, I kept it open and ran it hard for 2 years, and that was very difficult for me because that was our gig, and I mean, we were inseparable, and you know, God had a plan for me and obviously for him too.
Right.
And so I prayed a lot about it, and I put it on the market, and I had a couple people show up that I didn't really want to sell it to because I had a certain person in mind, you know, somebody that would respect what we had already done and keep it going.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, Jim Crosby makes an offer, and I meet him, and he is God's gift to the lodge. And he's from San Antonio, and he just retired from Frost Bank as a bigwig over there. And he's got so many horns and so many trophies he's been fishing and hunting all over the world his whole life. And so all over the lodge, it's very horny. I mean, there are horns everywhere. And so this is his post-retirement project.
Oh,
Because
wow.
he knew, he's young enough, and he knew that he was going to need something else to do, right? And when he and I met, it was just perfect.
Right.
And he's a great guy, and we've got, I don't know, 15 or 20 people over there this weekend, and so he's over there manning the fort. And
Okay.
yeah, I know, and he's probably watching, or he'll check it out later on YouTube. But he has created a wonderful atmosphere there. He's continued to respect what Aubrey and I did, and he and I are close friends. Like I said, I didn't sell the lodge; I gained a family.
Right.
And I'm moving on with my life, trying to anyway. I bought a piece of property just a little down the road from the lodge, and I'm putting up a little barn dominium,
Okay.
and that's getting built right now. And so I'm picking up my new boat next week from Waypoint Marine, and that's
Okay.
exciting. And I don't know. I feel really blessed. It could have been not good,
Yeah.
but
It turned out really good.
it turned out fantastic. And then he decided that he was going to build a $750,000 expansion. Because he said, you know what? I want some more double occupancy, single occupancy rooms. And so Aubrey and I bought the property next door to the lodge. So he built this new wing on the property next to the lodge, and that'll be open hopefully before dove season.
Okay.
And we can expand our capacity or just better serve our clients.
Right.
We have great chef and great staff, and Tammy Jo Patrick is the lodge manager now, and Tori Kuntz is our booking manager, and between those two, they just kill it. They just kill it. And
How do we get a hold of
they're on
of
top of
the
it.
lodge?
Well, you can call Tori
Okay.
at 361-720-9394. And she is, like I said, totally on top of it all the time.
Y'all have a Facebook and all that good
Well,
stuff?
yeah, we're
Right.
omnipresent on the internet. So
Okay.
we have Facebook and Instagram and,
Right.
you know,
They could contact y'all through there.
Everything.
If needed as well.
everything. LinkedIn, our LinkedIn page is gigantic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we talk to a lot of professionals there,
Right.
you know, that like to fish. And like I said, we're totally omnipresent. We're always there every day talking about fishing, putting up fishing pictures. You know, we're just not doing lifestyle stuff or whatever. We're making a statement that, you know, we're catching good fish and we're having a lot of fun. We have a swimming pool at the lodge.
Oh, wow.
And so when people get off the water, we're across the street from the water, from the bay.
Has anybody just gone not to fish or hunt?
Oh,
but
yeah.
Just want to spend time
Oh,
away?
Oh, yeah, a
Okay.
lot, right. And when you come into the lodge, we have a gate, and so you come through that gate, you don't have to think anymore. All your food
Right.
is provided, all your beer, your wine with dinner.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
you
yeah.
say beer is
Well,
provided?
Karbach ranch water.
That's provided?
Yes.
Yeah, that's man. I'm already. Is there any bookings available for today? Right? I'm just playing.
You can follow me home.
For Memorial Day, right?
Yeah, there's a couple. I mean, like I said, we have about 15 people there tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
And
yesterday and tonight.
when people come out of the lodge, is there like a main room where everybody just comes
Yes,
out and hangs
right.
out
Yeah.
and make friends and all
Yes,
that stuff?
so the kitchen and the living room and the whole thing is one big room, right,
Okay.
with a great big high ceiling and lots of mounts
Yeah.
and a great big giant TV, and so people sit around in this giant leather furniture or sit around and, you know, we can seat like, you know, for almost 40 people for dinner.
Right.
All the guides come and have dinner with everybody. So if I'm fishing with you tomorrow, I'll be there the night before, and you and I are going to visit. We're going to meet. We're going to visit. We're going to talk about like what we're catching them on, how to rig up your rod if you have questions. So it's a real value added
Right.
situation, and it creates a lot of loyalty. I mean, I think that's what it's all about. When it comes to being a fishing guide, I think to be successful, you have loyal clients.
Right.
Like it can't always be like unicorns and rainbows, right? Like
Right.
you go out and sometimes it just sucks.
Yeah.
but you can still have a good time.
Yeah.
And I learned this thing at this Chamber of Commerce that I went to one day. They said, it's not when stuff happens, it's what you do when stuff happens.
Right.
Right, when there's a big storm, or your
Yeah.
motor breaks down,
Yeah.
or you get stuck on a sandbar, or the stuff you don't want to have happen to you during the day. You forgot your lunch and everybody's starved, or even stuff like you forgot the beer.
Yeah, that would be
Right. Some people, woo. So it's not what happens; it's how you handle what happens that matters. So we've all the young guides at our lodge. Even the youngest guides at our lodge have been guiding for several years. So even those guys have kind of gotten the clue that it's what you do when stuff happens that matters.
Right.
So we all work together. If somebody's boat breaks down, which happens rarely, but we all work together, call somebody,
Yeah.
hey, come pick up my clients
Yeah.
and take them fishing.
I feel like that adds to the adventure.
Well, sure.
If the captain's boat breaks down, you're like, oh man, this. Now what?
Let's not hope for that, but
Yeah, well, I mean, what I look for and I don't know everything, right? I'm up there though, right? But if I ever do go on a guided trip, and you said it earlier, I want to learn something, right? I don't want to just here's your rod,
Right.
throw it that way, and when the line gets going, I want to be talking to the guy.
Yeah.
I want to tell me who you are.
Yeah.
I didn't pay all this money just to come catch 3 trout, right? And
Well,
3
true.
You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
Give me an adventure. Show me something I don't know, and teach me something that I could pass along as well, right?
I mean, slowly but surely, it's getting to the point where it's not about how many fish you catch, how many fish you keep, right? It might be how many fish you catch. I mean, you want to catch fish.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to catch fish. Nobody more than the guide, right? And sometimes
Yeah,
it
for
just
sure.
doesn't work out. But I mean, I'm on the water like 5 days a week. Hey, if I'm not catching fish, it's not because I didn't go and know about it or figure it like something like Baffin has no tide, right? So there's all kinds of other things that we look at: high pressure, low pressure, wind, water temperature. I mean, we're always looking at all of these different aspects of the fishing atmosphere. And so if I'm not catching fish, it's because it's just going to suck. Nobody's catching fish.
Yeah.
There's always that one guy who somehow figured out where the fish were and caught them. But like there's 9 guys that didn't catch anything.
Right.
And so if you're in that spot and you're a bad guide, or you're boring, or you don't have a couple of good jokes and
Yeah.
no like secret stash of something on your
Karbach.
boat, Karbach,
Something to bring the morale.
Yeah, when it's
I thought about this idea years ago, right? To where I was going to be a guide, right? And I was going to bring in all these clients from around the world to be my friend, and I was going to tell them, hey, I can't promise you that we're going to catch fish, but I can promise that you're going to leave here with a new friend.
Oh.
Right. And we're gonna drink a lot of Karbach. We're gonna eat a lot of sandwiches.
All right.
Right, and we're gonna throw a whole bunch of lures.
Yeah, well, it's all good.
Yeah,
I mean, you know what? It beats the crap out of sitting in an office
Yeah.
or cutting the grass.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So if you have the right attitude, everybody with the right attitude is going to succeed in life. I don't care what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you have like a bad stroke of luck, it can be funny.
Right.
It can be really funny.
Yeah, for sure.
Like like whacking one of our guides. There was a rattlesnake coming off the ranch, and it was coming toward his boat, and he got the check-it stick and he whacked that rattlesnake until he chopped it up. with
wow.
a check stick to save his customers. You know,
Yeah.
like you can't beat that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would have jumped off the boat
That's
and ran
that's
the
just a
opposite
great
direction.
story. You know, like
Yeah.
there's stories like that all over. I mean, I could write a book of stuff like that.
We're gonna have to have a part 2.
We are.
Captain Sally Black, part 2.
We are. I can talk for like ever.
Let's give a shout out to the team.
My people?
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a list of people a mile long, but I'm going to give you the short list today, okay? So, Waypoint Marine is my boat sponsor.
Okay.
And I think this is my 4th or 5th Showwater Cat, 23 Showwater Cat, coming out of the gates over there at Waypoint today. I mean, this week sometime.
Oh, wow.
Right? And this year, because I'm a super patriotic person, I painted my boat Stars and Stripes blue.
Oh, wow.
And so when I went over there, they said, hey, we're sorry that we had to put white power poles on your boat. Because I'm a black on the back girl, you know, like black power poles, black motor, Mercury, and a black ladder and anything else. Black on the back. I don't want, you know, it just looks nice.
Yeah.
I said, well, I think I'm going to, has anybody ever wrapped their power poles? Like, no. I think I'm going to wrap my power poles like maybe Stars and Stripes.
Yeah.
Because my boat is painted Stars and Stripes blue. So this is going to be my patriotic ride. And I'm really excited about it. I've got a 300 Merc on the back of it. And all the good stuff that you would imagine.
Right.
But it's really comfortable. I've learned a lot about boats, and my perfect boat is a floating living room. So.
Right. I mean, that's what I would want.
Right. So lots of comfortable places to sit
Yeah, you
down.
want to be comfortable.
Lots of
Yeah.
good places, like
Yeah.
good cold stuff and everything that you need,
Mm-hmm.
right there, handy and easy to spread out and have a good time. And they're just fantastic boats.
Yeah.
So Jim Poole over there at Waypoint, my guy, and he approached us when we really needed somebody to come and give us a hand. And so he's been a very loyal Waypoint Marine, Jim and Jared Poole, super loyal to Aubrey and I and to me. And I love those guys. And then, of course, Jim and Brenda Crosby, who bought the lodge, that
Okay.
have taken me into their under their wing and love me like a family member. And I love them. And Jim is a fantastic fisherman, not just a hunter, and a great hunter, but a fantastic fisherman. And he's got a great dog, Hut, in case Hut's listening. And so when we do dove hunting and duck hunting, Hut, he's right there. And then, of course, Sarge.
Oh,
Sarge Customs, you know. Sarge, I've been with Sarge since Sarge was a baby. And when Sarge was wrapping rods for Laguna, way back in the day, even before Danny New and Jeff New owned Laguna, and then they sold it to some other guys. And then Sarge left, and he was basically living in his pickup truck. And we were talking to him, and he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's like, dude, start your own rod company. I mean, you're
Right.
going to be super successful. You're a fantastic guy. Mm-hmm. And now look at him.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like whatever price he puts on those rods,
Yeah.
he sells them.
Yeah, and they're amazing.
And they're great. They're that great,
Yeah.
you know. And I put a loose custom light on that super light. I use the Priest, which
Okay.
is a 6.6 medium light, and I've used that. I used the Smooth Dog before the Priest, which is the same rod basically, but it's a super fast, shorter rod because I'm a shorter girl, super fast, so that I can side cast when I want to, or throw a plastic when I want to, or
Right.
work a topwater when I want to. So it's kind of to me,
It's an all-around
It's an
rod.
all-around. It's a fast tip rod, so it does what I need it to do, and I think it weighs a couple ounces, and that lagoon or that custom light, loose custom light, I think it's 4.9 ounces.
Okay.
So I can cast that thing a million times a week, and I'm good to go.
Right.
Right, and that's what it's all about. The more casts you make, and the farther your casts go, the more fish you're going to catch.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell my clients, he who casts the farthest catches the most fish.
Yeah.
because your lure is out there doing what it's supposed to do for a longer period of time.
Right.
Because it's a ratio game. So, these guys are like family to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the Forever Last people,
Okay.
they're like family to me. That's a small company too.
Right.
And they have like stuff that everyone can afford. And it's all good.
Yeah.
And their pliers are just like for whatever, that $30 or whatever. Oh my God, they last forever. I don't know how they do that, but they do. And they cut braid. So that makes me happy. And like I said, Mercury, I've been on the Mercury team forever and ever and ever and ever.
Mm-hmm.
And they're good people. So I know there's a whole bunch more people, but that's my short list.
Right. And some of those are big companies, and some of those are small.
Mm-hmm.
Small.
Saltwater Assassin.
Small businesses.
Saltwater Assassin's been with us since Jesus
Saltwater Assassin.
Yes, since Jesus was a baby.
Oh yeah.
And I was down there and I picked up the whole thing of sugar and spice, 4-inch paddle tails. You can't hardly beat that lure.
Really.
Period. So purple and chartreuse and sugar and spice in any lure company's colors, Bone Diamond, Wiggalo. I'm stuck on the Wiggalo.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that, okay, I always say this. People always ask me, what color should I get? Well, there's only 2 colors, dark and light.
Right.
So whatever you like, dark and light. Just come with both. That way you're good to go.
Yeah. Just in case.
Dark and light.
Yeah.
So that's mostly my people. Rihanna.
Yeah.
She's the up-and-comer. And, there's not very many women in the business.
Yeah, there isn't.
Shelly Gray up in Seadrift. She's been maybe 10 years after I started. She and her husband, her husband's a guide. Her mother taught her how to fish. Her husband did not. And she's back in it. And Trisha retired, and there's a gal down in South Padre that's kind of starting up her business. And that's it. I mean, that is it. And I don't know why. It's a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to be outside, go fishing, talk to people,
Meet new people,
hang out with
yeah.
men. I mean, golly.
Right. What else would you want to do?
Come on, girls.
On a weekend, right?
Oh, man. It's awesome.
Man, well, it's been a hell of a show. But it's not over yet. Because, in Spooled Life Live fashion, we love to give stuff away. Right. And I could see all of y'all. I can see all 10 of y'all right now. Y'all are just staring at my cap. Y'all are just, man, what has he got on it? I know the number.
What does it say? What does it say?
The number in the live is on there. Is in the middle of it. But if y'all been staring at my cap, I'm going to give one away. Right? To the first person that tells me the year that Mrs. Captain Sally Black bought her first boat. That's a good one. Whoever wins this one is, man, I'm gonna send y'all something something special.
I might even throw a bag of plastic from my personal.
There you go, because that's a big deal.
I
If
know.
they get this one, they've been on for the past hour and 13
Hey,
minutes.
I forgot one person to add to my
Go ahead,
shout-out.
keep going. We
Okay.
got time.
Because these people are gonna.
We have a winner though.
Hey, they're gonna have to start thinking about that. Oh, you're kidding me,
Yep.
man! Somebody was hanging in.
Oh, this guy is
He's a groupie.
he is, and I might have to bring him on the show.
Or
Just
maybe
to
he
find
just
out
likes
who this
Karbach.
guy is.
Maybe
You
he
know
just
what I
likes Karbach.
He does. He likes Karbach. He likes Real Sportswear. He likes Roy's Bait and Tackle.
Well,
he likes Ram Garcia.
Nice,
You know what I mean?
nice.
He likes a little bit.
Yeah, he's your fan base.
Well, let's find out for sure.
Who do you love?
Let's find out. Yeah, it was
do you
him.
love?
And guys, this all goes on my screen, right? I have to go by what I see. You know what I mean? And if your name pops up, well, then it pops up, But we give more than enough times. We give tons of stuff away on the show, on the page. But
You just gotta be hanging in there.
the person that wins the cap is my man, Austin Matthews.
Whoop, whoop.
All right. I'm gonna write this down. I shouldn't remember. I send him a package at least twice a week. But Austin Matthews, you're the man. Thank you for tuning in and winning this.
That's why he's so
awesome cap.
loyal.
Team Rain
You send him all the good stuff.
Cap.
Nice.
Who are you gonna give a shout out to?
Mikhail Lurma, who started a company called Truchador.
Okay.
And I'm a Truchadora. I'm like, hey, where's my stuff? Truchadora. You know, like, not everyone is a Truchador,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. Hey, there's women
Yeah.
that fish hard, Truchadoras. So he is a great guy, and he has some great shirts with some unbelievable great designs and hats. And not only that, he has painted a whole bunch of lures. You know, the hand-painted lure craze.
Yeah.
You know, Coastal Marsh.
Yeah. The whole custom
You know,
painting stuff.
Well, the Coastal Marsh guy, he's a number one dude.
Right.
He is. And
Robbie Marsh.
huh?
Robbie Marsh.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
And the stuff he does is fantastic. Well, Mikhail started, came up with his own color patterns and started painting his own lures, and so down south lures. And he has been very successful, and we have been very successful fishing with them. And lots of my clients, that's all they fish with. So shout out to Mikhail, Mikael.
Oh, so it's not Michael.
Mikhail.
It's
Mikhail
okay.
or Mick.
Yeah,
however
Mick
you
for
like
short.
it. Yeah, I called him Michael forever, and he's like, it's not Michael.
Right.
But I get it. So shout out to you, Mikhail. And he's got some unbelievable stuff. And he can't keep it in stock because it all works.
Right.
So I recommend everybody go and check out Truchador.
Right.
No, Truchador. And check out his painted lures, hand-painted topwaters. And I mean, they're great. They're great. Plus, his shirts are like top-notch, cutting edge. Yeah, you need him as a sponsor.
Nope. We have real sportswear.
Real sportswear.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they need to get with Mikhail
Maybe.
and get some designs.
What is next for Captain Sally Black?
You know, I'm building a place. It's a barn dominium, just a little bit down from the lodge. I don't live there anymore, but I'm still guiding there. And after my husband passed away, I kind of traveled a little bit. I love the blue water.
Okay.
And I went down to Isla Morada. I love Isla Morada, and I love blue water. And I went down there, and I thought about it for a few minutes, about getting a place down there and just ditching Texas. That just not in my soul, right? I'm a Texas girl. I was born in Michigan, but I moved here in January of 1979, and I've never been back. I love this place. I love Texas more than anything, and I love Baffin more than anything. And when I got back from my soul searching, and I was out fishing with clients, and I looked around and I thought, there's nothing better than this. Why am I even looking? Why do I even want to think about it? It was just some people have that idea about the geographical cure. There is no geographical cure, right? It's just, you can't run away. You can't go someplace else and make it better. So
That's true.
I love Baffin Bay. When I say love, capital L, love Baffin Bay. And I fish there night and day. And I'm addicted, and I'm going to stay addicted until I can't fish anymore.
Right.
And so I bought this place. I bought a piece of land, and I've been clearing it for a couple years, and I'm building a place right now. And my little pool is going to be in before my house is built, so that's okay. It's okay with me. And it's a little modest, metal building. And I'm building a little apartment for my mom there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be she and I. She's 90. And my 5 pets that I have. And right now we're living in a 30-foot travel trailer on my property. And it's just it's a labor of love, totally. And in this time, when it's so hard to get stuff built, get
Right.
get anything, like we're waiting for doors and windows So it's been a challenge, but it's so nice there. It's just so nice. And there's nobody. And it's peaceful and quiet and so much serenity, just like Baffin Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love everything about it, and I never want to leave.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Thanks.
And people are watching, of course, right? Thank you all so much for tuning in. There'll definitely have to be a Captain Sally Black Part 2 within the year, of course.
Oh, I can talk forever.
Yeah, we could sit here and talk forever, right?
Hey, I have an idea. Let's do it on the water.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea. Let's do that. If y'all are gonna come into our waters, Corpus Christi waters, it's gonna be jam-packed. Y'all stay safe. It's Memorial Day weekend. Let's not forget.
Be kind.
Yeah, let's be kind to each other. In a world where you could be anything, be kind, right? Let's not forget what Memorial Day is really about. Don't just turn on the barbecue pit and drink a whole bunch of Karbach and pop a whole bunch of fireworks.
The rap music.
Right? Do you pop fireworks for Memorial Day? No, right? I don't think so, right? 4th of July?
Yeah.
If you still have some saved up from New Year's.
It's
right?
a little somber, you know, because we're not, it's not like Veterans Day where we're really respecting the people that are still here. Memorial Day is the day that we really respect the people that gave their lives for our country.
Right.
Right? So it's a little more somber, I think. It's like you must take time for a little reflection about how great a place we live in, how beautiful it is here, how lucky we are to be here. No matter if the political climate stinks or the gas prices are high or hot dogs cost a lot, it just really doesn't matter. It's we're blessed to be in the United States of America.
Right.
No matter what.
No matter who the president is.
Oh gosh, no. Bless our hearts.
All right. Thank y'all so much. We will see y'all next time. I want to give a shout out to the show sponsors. Roy's Bait and Tackle, supplying you all with everything.
They're getting 150 of me.
There you go. Supplying with y'all everything y'all need that works. Some stuff that don't work.
$150 and
but we got it.
Half of a red little hand basket.
Karbach Brewery.
Oh yeah.
Keeping us nice and fresh with
That's
the
good.
spicy mango. 4.5 alcohol by volume. 2.2 grams of carbs. 90 calories.
Yeah.
Keeping us nice and fit. You know, it's time to get that fit body for the river.
Working
the
on
summer
it.
body.
Working on it.
And of course, Real Sportswear, keeping me nice and cool, whether it be on the water, out to HEB, Eckerd, Super S, anywhere I go. I'm just looking nice and fresh and clean. Right?
Hey, I like that the shirt that has the painted on, 6-pack.
Yeah, I need to get one of those. We'll send the next show flyer. I want to say Sunday. It's going to be another hell of a show, right? I want to know if it's going to blow this one out of the water, right? They're all about equal in my book, but it's going to be a good one. It's going to be one that y'all definitely want to tune into.
Who is it?
What else you got?
Who is it?
I can't tell you.
Oh gosh,
I can't tell you. It's a top secret. It's going to be a good one though, for sure. Shout out to the Roy's Bait and Tackle team out there looking at me like, man, you're still on, man. I want to go home already. I want to go celebrate Memorial Day too. It's
please let them leave.
They're not about to pay me overtime. You know what I mean?
Bless your heart.
If you got any guys, girls, family members that want to join in on the fun, for sure, send them to the show. We will see y'all next time. I want to say it's 2 weeks from now, the next show. I'm not too sure. Don't worry about the next show yet. Enjoy the holiday. Spend it time with family. Hug a family member. Say bye to don't get all mad at your family members
keep it kind.
Because they didn't like your fajitas.
And remember the reason for Memorial Day is to honor the people that gave their lives for our country and for our freedom.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for joining the show. We'll see y'all next time. I hope I didn't forget anything. If I did, we'll
catch you next time.
We'll get it on part 2.
Yeah.
Thank y'all so much. We'll see y'all next time.
Thank y'all.